Hello, my name is Diego De Piano, and today I'm going to talk about the GOAT and what the GOAT means, and then also who is the GOAT. If you can tell from this picture, I'm going to be talking about Lionel Messi, who is, I think, believe the greatest of all time. And so, real quickly, to start off, the GOAT means the greatest of all time. It's an acronym. It's a slang term that a lot of people use, and as you can tell in this pictures, there's a lot of greatest of all time athletes that have ever lived on this planet and are one of the greatest in their sports. And so, for example, they have like Jackie Robinson and Babe Ruth. They have Usain Bolt, one of the greatest athletes who've ever ran in track and field in the Olympics. You also have another Olympian right here, Michael Phelps, who was one of the greatest also. You have Michael Jordan, LeBron. That's one of the biggest debate in basketball. You have Cristiano Ronaldo, and then you have Messi up here. And there's multiple people on this list that are could be considered one of the greatest in their sports. But when it comes down to one of the greatest, and especially one of the biggest sports in the world, it would have to be soccer. What is the biggest sport? And so there was a cool stat what that just happened in the World Cup final that just happened in 2022 in December. There was 1.5 billion viewers watching that game. And out of the 7.7 billion people that live on this earth, 20% of them was watching this World Cup final, this one soccer match. And in that World Cup final, there was Lionel Messi. So there's other goats that can be considered, right, in soccer. There's typically the top four. I'm going to talk about Lionel Messi, but there's also Pelé. Pelé was a Brazilian who did a lot for his country. He won 3 World Cups, which is pretty impressive since the World Cup only happens once every 4 years. And so Pelé was one of the greatest, and he's one of the top scorers. He has over 1,200 goals, and he was just a really impressive soccer player. And then you have Diego Maradona, an Argentinian who also won the World Cup for Argentina and was just a magician with the ball in his feet. And so another greatest of all time that could be considered. Maradona and Pelé always go hand in hand. And always with Messi, there is also Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the most hardworking and one of the most talented players that I've ever played too. Um, and he's just a goal scorer. He is really good at just putting the ball in the net and just being really talented and helping his Portugal team. But the one thing that stands out from Messi from these guys is that he has certain trophies that these guys have never been able to win. Pele, really great. He's always been able to win like the World Cup and Copa America, but he's never actually played in Europe, which I believe held them back. To play soccer in the 80s and the 90s is not as good as what soccer is today. I think talent is just continuing to grow and grow, and Pele was never able to play in Europe, where typically that's where the best soccer is played at. Diego Maradona, he played in Europe. He won championships there. He won a World Cup. But the one thing he's never done for Argentina was win a Copa America, which is a tournament that's played in South America for all the countries in South America to determine who's the top country in South America. And so he's never won that trophy for Argentina. And then Cristiano Ronaldo, as great as he is, he's Mr. Champions League. He's won 5 Champions League. He has many scoring titles, but he has never won the World Cup. And that's what separates Messi from all of them, and that he has a certain trophy that every single one of them don't have. As you can tell from this picture, his trophy collection is pretty extensive. You can tell right up here, there's the World Cup, the one trophy that was really holding him back to be considered one of the greatest in soccer. You have the Phantom Lisa, you have the Copa America, the one trophy that Maradona was never able to win, and then yeah, the World Cup, the one trophy that Cristiano Ronaldo was never able to win. And then these 4 trophies right here are Europeans. That's the Champions League. Those 4, that's a trophy that Pele is never able to win also. But another cool thing about Messi is he has a record, and most likely he's going to continue with that record. This trophy's right here are the Ballon d'Oro. It's a French trophy that's given every year to the best player in the world, and he's won it 7 times now. And there's an 8th one coming on the way. I'm pretty sure. He holds the record. The second closest to him is Cristiano Ronaldo with 5. And then another impressive trophy that he has is these golden boots. Messi is not a striker. He's not typically a goal scorer. He's mostly playing on the wings, giving assists, and doing everything he possibly can. But he is a scoring machine. I don't know how he does it. I still can't believe what he does, and that's why he's the GOAT. So he's won that golden boot, which is given to the top goal scorer in Europe, and he's won that 6 times, which is pretty impressive. And so there's a lot of specific trophies that he's won individually, and there's a lot of team trophies in there. But some of the biggest trophies is obviously that World Cup that really helped him move over to becoming one of the greatest of all time. Um, and then some of the records that I've talked about is that Ballon d'Oro. You can see this picture right behind my camera is the 7 Ballon d'Oro with, I said, an 8 1 on the way. And then another unbreakable record I don't think I'm ever going to see in my lifetime be broken is how many goals he scored in a year. In a calendar year, he scored 91 goals, which is 22 goals more than Lewandowski and Cristiano Ronaldo scored in a year. That record in 2012 is one of the most impressive record. Not only did he score 91 goals, but he also had 30 plus assists in that season. He was just incredible. So they're unbreakable records that Lionel Messi, the greatest of all time, is probably you're never going to see broken again. Lionel Messi is also the only player in the World Cup to have scored in every single round in one World Cup. Basically, he scored in the group stages, the groups of 16, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals. In this last World Cup in December 2022, he has so many records, and not only like are these records so important for he considered one of the greatest of all time, it just stands him apart from any of his competition. And then lastly, what I want to talk about is the impact that he has on the world. In this next slide, um, I was able to go to Europe and actually go to see Paris Saint Germain where Lionel Messi plays, and I was able to see him live. It was one of the happiest moments, other than the birth of my two daughters, but it was one of the greatest moments that I was able to witness to see the greatest of all time. And then on that picture on the right, we actually visit Barcelona. That's where I spent most of my vacation when I went to Europe last summer, and Lionel Messi's house is on Google Maps. You can literally walk up to it, and that picture right there to the right is just my wife and my daughter and I were at Lionel Messi's house, and just to know that he walked right there too, and he's one of the greatest of all time. Like I was able to be in the presence of him too, and so it was really cool. But not only has he had a huge impact on me ever since I was a little kid, I can remember watching his games, waking up super early to watch him. But he's also had an impact in the world, and as you can tell from these pictures, the pictures on the right is 4 million Argentinians celebrating this World Cup that he's won for them in December. It was an incredible moment. I actually broke down crying. My family's from Argentina. Like it meant so much to Argentina for him to win this World Cup, and not only because he won it for the country, but also like it was just a astronomical moment for him that he was able to win this one trophy that was just holding him back. That was always lingering over his head that he's never won this trophy. He's never done anything with the country of Argentina. He's always won everything at a club level, but in the country level, he's never won. And there's 4 million Argentinians right there celebrating with him. And it was one of the craziest moments to ever see. Everyone shut down stores, everything just shut down in Argentina, and it was one of the craziest moments I've like got to see into. And then on the left right here, he has actually one of the most liked photos ever in Instagram's history. 75.4 million is the last time I checked for this picture of him celebrating the World Cup and saying like campeones del mundo, which just means champions of the world. And it's he's just has such a big impact in the world. You can constantly see people invading the pitch, just going to touch him, going to hug him, go trying to get a signature, trying to get his photo, and just even just touch his left foot. Like the people are just so crazy about him. I'm one of the fanatics, and he just has not only such a big impact on the world, but he's just such a humble person too, which makes him even though that much greater. And so to kind of wrap it up, like Messi, he is one of the greatest of all times just because of the trophies that he's won and everything he's won individually in the country and a club level. He's won so many trophies that just sets him apart from any of the greatest of any of the other considered goats. In order to be a goat, I feel like there just needs to be one that stands out, and Messi and his trophies just stand out from the rest. Another thing that stands him out from the rest is just his records that he has. Like no one's ever gonna come close to what he's done with his records of winning the Ballon d'Or, for winning the best player in the world, and then also to winning to scoring that many goals in a season, and to breaking that record with the World Cup, scoring all 5 stages. It's just something we're never going to see. And then also the impact that he's on in the world. Not only has he had an impact on me, but in the entire world. And people are just constantly rooting for this guy. Like he has to be considered one of the goats. And so when it comes down to the goat, I want you guys to always think of Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is the greatest of all time at the greatest sport in the world. It is one of the most popular sports in the world, and he is one of the most popular athletes in the world. And so I wanted to leave you guys with a quick video. And so every single time you guys hear of the GOAT in soccer, I want you guys to think of this video.
¿Cómo se llama? Messi. ¿Cómo se llama?
So there you go. What is his name? And he just says Messi in the GOAT lows. And so, greatest of all time, Lionel Messi, hands down. There's no debate. Thanks for your time, guys.